Good morning. My name is Eugenie Ermis, and I'm with Grief Growing Forward Coaching. I'm also a transformational coach with a specialty in situational grief coaching. I have a friend of mine here who is wonderful. Her name is Cheryl Hutto. She is a coach for caregivers. She works one-on-one with caregivers to help them through overwhelming stress to find sorry, we're going to start that one over again.
Okay.
Good morning. My name is Eugenie Ermis. I am the administrator and the coach with Grief Going Forward. I am both a transformational coach and a situational grief coach and life coach. I have a friend and colleague of mine here named Cheryl Hutto, who is a coach for caregivers. She works one-on-one with caregivers, helping them cope with hope, with overwhelming stress, and helps them find wonderful ways for self-care. Her wife actually has dementia, and she has personal experience with that. I'm going to let Cheryl take it for a little bit and talk a little bit about herself and her situation and her coaching.
Hi, Jeannie. Thanks for having me. Yes, I have been a coach for caregivers for several years now, and I was inspired to do it because my wife was diagnosed with dementia many years ago. She is functional at this point, but I remember always how it felt when she was first diagnosed and how I felt as though I was totally going down the tubes, and that I really emotionally and physically might not make it. And not only have I I have survived, and here I am today, and I really passionate about helping other people deal with practical solutions of their journey, no matter who they're caring for. Sometimes it's caring for others with dementia, or it could be any kind of illness that is probably not going to get better. So we deal with all sorts of things, and we really focus on all the ways to make self-care a habit and what self-care really is. And I'm happy to be here today and talk about the topic of hope with you. So thank you.
Well, I'm glad to have you with us, Cheryl. Our title today is Finding Hope in Crisis. We have a lot of different crises happening right now with COVID. We have all the political unrest. We have people losing their jobs and their homes and their health. We have caregivers losing their partners. We have people losing their loved ones. And I think it's real important to know that even though all this is going on around us, we can still find hope through all of this. And today we're going to talk about how to find hope through crisis and with crisis. We were talking earlier together about the fact that you need to invite hope in. And there are several different ways to do this. We talked about prayer.
Yep.
To whomever your higher power may be. Mine is the Christian God, so I pray to my God and ask for help and guidance and just to be uplifted and the best outcome for everybody involved in the situation. Meditation, just getting quiet and just letting all your thoughts go away and focusing on the good things that are there for you. I had a situation a little while ago where I was struggling financially. Big, huge struggle, not little struggle, big, huge struggle. And hope was very difficult at that point in time. And I'll share a real brief story with you. I was going to see my sister in North Carolina, and I had stopped to get some water, and there was this young man at the gas station with his dog, And I kind of talked to him. He was a cute little fellow. And then he was going to Nashville. And I said, well, I wish you all the best. And I went inside and got my little water, came back out and, told him, I said, I'm not going anywhere near Nashville right now, but I have a great big box full of change in my car. If you need it, I can give it to you if you need money for food for yourself and your dog or some water. And he told me, no, he was good. So I said, okay. And I felt in my heart that if I took him as far as I was going, that he could end up in a not very good spot. And that spot, he said they were taking good care of him. And so I decided not to take him anywhere, which is probably good anyway. And so I went up to see my sister and came back, and I was going to get gas, and I couldn't use my credit card. And I was like, what's going on? So anyway, long story short, I found $16.50 of coins in my car, and I took them in, and the man behind the counter was so gracious. He said, don't worry, ma'am. He says, we need all this change. I said, well, I'll give you all I got. And so he got his coins. I got my money for gas. But even through that whole time, I knew that there was hope. I knew that I would get home, and I knew that there was a way, and I knew that God was going to provide, and that there was hope. And I was very grateful for the fact that I got home. So that's just a little story about inviting hope into your life and not despairing.
Someone was watching out for you because you had, the young man had declined your box of coins.
Yes, I think God knew I needed them. Or the little fella needed them. So I was very thankful. We also, besides inviting hope in, we also talked about the fact that if you are despairing, to find an anchor in your environment, whether it's something you can touch, like I have an elephant that I see and touch that reminds me of prosperity and hope. A smell, a sound, or even a mantra that you just say over and over again when you feel despairing. You can also call someone like myself or Cheryl, who could be your hope people who help you come up out of that.
That's right. Right.
Does that sound like something? Yeah.
Absolutely. It's really important to be able to call on others, because
Yes.
otherwise that feeling of being alone can be overwhelming.
And knowing that you're not alone.
Right.
Yeah. Because even though I live by myself, but I don't ever feel like I'm alone, because I can't explain it to you. I just don't. I think also something we can do is have positive affirmations you state every day. Go to bed stating them, so that you kind of plan for the next day, and you plant those in your body and your soul and your mind. And then when you wake up, you state them again, so that you anchor those again in your body and your mind and your soul, that this is going to be an okay day. I'm going to be okay regardless of what happens. There was a saying that I used to always say, and I still do, is there's nothing that can happen to me today that God and I together can't handle. And that's something that I still say to myself. Nature is also a wonderful way to ground yourself and bring more hope into your life.
Absolutely.
I know when I was up in North Carolina, I took a very short video of a running river or a little brook, and it was so soothing. I could have stood there all day, but I was with my sister, so I couldn't stay there all day. But it was wonderful. And the responses from that were like, oh, it brings peace to my soul. And it does. It's called blue noise, and it really works better than white noise with that. That's what they say, yeah. And I really feel that, because I have fans going on in my house all the time, but the sound of running water like that, and the wind and the trees, I think the millennial population calls it forest bathing. I call it a walk in the woods, but
That's right.
each your own.
I have understood that. I read a recent article about even getting wet, getting your body into water, even if it's just putting your feet into a brook or putting your feet into a bucket of water can really calm the nervous system, because we are made of so much water. We just energetically relate to that fluid. And it's
Yes.
beautiful to bring us into a state of lower. Yeah, absolutely. So the
Yeah.
simplest things can be huge.
Walking barefoot in your yard, getting the energy of the earth up into your body is just tremendous.
That's right.
Yeah. One day I wanted to go for my walk and it was raining, so I just put on my raincoat and went walking in the rain.
Did you go barefoot?
I didn't go barefoot. No, I was walking on pavement where I didn't know who had been there before, so I did not go barefoot.
Nah, good.
But around my yard, I will go barefoot sometimes,
Right.
just to kind of ground that the earth's energy.
Yeah.
And just, I think also just savoring the small victories in your everyday. Sometimes it could be as simple as getting up in the morning. I had a friend of mine I was working with that still was in patient mentality because she'd had some huge changes in her health. And one thing we worked on was just getting up in the morning and getting dressed so that you aren't in that patient mode anymore. You're human.
Right.
You know, just the simplest things. Maybe even choosing an apple over choosing the ice cream can be a simple victory for some people.
That's right.
There's just so many tiny, minute things. Do you have any examples?
No, but it's interesting that you said, you know, just the tiniest, well, the tiniest things. I think that this conversation and talking about that thing, I'm still sort of stuck on the water and the ways that we can sort of stay in the day. And so much of it reminds me of gratitude.
Yes, yes.
And one of my yoga teachers loves to have us do the mantra, everything is going right for me. Everything is going right for me.
I like that.
So even when it doesn't feel like it's going right, it is going as it should. And sometimes I have come to believe and really try to help others understand that it's not what's happening, it's how we perceive what's happening. So,
Yes.
and your
Yes.
story was such a great example of that, Eugenie, because, you know, you could have in the story about not being able to find the money to buy the gas to make it home, you could have, you know, perceived that as something very different than you did. But no, you went through the car and you said, well, you know, this is going to work out for me. I just know it is. And sometimes it's just a matter of knowing that in our bones. And if we can't know it, that's where maybe those mantras really come in.
Yes.
Everything's going to work out for me. Has it ever not worked out for us? We could always ask ourselves that.
I think the only time it doesn't work out for you is if you don't let it work out for you.
I agree.
Because that whole time of that situation, my mantra was, all is well. All is well. It is going to be well. All is well.
Yeah. Yes.
But I could have also let it go a downward spiral and just dissolved in my car in tears and not been able to do anything.
That's right.
So, you know, I could have chosen that too, but, you know, all is well.
That's right.
And everything is going to work out for me. That's, I think, wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
One of the things too that I ask people when they're really in crisis and call me and they're completely have escalated out of control. And when we go into crisis, of course, we can't even think straight. It's like, really, you're telling me I should remember a mantra? I doubt it. But when someone calls me and they're truly in crisis, one of the questions I ask them is to, of course, take some deep breaths. And then I ask, are you okay right now? Are you okay in this moment? Do you have food? Do you have a roof over your head? Are you breathing? And if they really are, I mean, sometimes people will say, no, I'm not okay. But if you really bring it down, it's like, yes, I have those things. And yesterday was one day and tomorrow isn't here yet. And so what is today like? Are we okay right now?
right in this moment.
Right.
And I like what you said about breathing. Breathing is so important.
Yeah.
There's breathing and grounding,
Right.
realizing what your blessings are, just focusing on those, having an anchor in your environment
Right.
that you can look at, see, hear, feel, smell, or all the above if you need all the above. That's good. Getting out and taking a walk.
Yep.
Because exercise is incredible. And exercise they found is also good for helping prevent COVID because it gets you out in the open air and helps you ventilate and gets those T cells up and all kinds of things. So it's really good.
That's
So
right.
even a short, brief walk to your mailbox, doesn't have to be, miles and miles, just short, brief walk or walk around your yard.
Right.
So those are things you can do and they don't cost anything.
That's right. Yeah.
The only thing they cost is you taking a moment of time to do it.
That's right. They're all free.
And for those who are Christian, you could just say a little prayer. And it could be, God help me because I am not able to help myself right now. I need help.
Right.
And then following with all is well, because it will be okay.
Right.
And again, meditation, I can't talk enough about meditation, even if it's just 1 minute of breathing and just,
Yeah.
so I think.
These are some good, Eugenie, really excellent.
And we can always help more in depth with different other things. But we don't want to overwhelm you with different things in this video right now. We just wanted to be able to let you know that there is hope in crisis. You want to tell them a little bit more about your coaching, Cheryl?
Well, I think that I've said it, Eugenie, and my website, of course, is my name, CherylHutto.com. Very simple. And I also do have a private Facebook group that's free that people can go in, and there are several hundred people in there clamoring to love and support one another. So everyone is welcome. So thank you, Eugenie. And how about you? How can people get in touch with you, Eugenie?
Well, I have a website, www.griefgrowingforward.com. That's griefgrowingforward.com. I have a hard time getting that out because there's so many G's right there. And like I said, I am a certified transformational coach with a sub of situational grief. And situational grief to me is, it could be losing a loved one. It could be losing different parts of a loved one at a time. House loss, job loss, just anything that can cause you grief and pain. And I can help you work through that. But you can reach me through that website. And I'm so excited. I think that coaching people can be as helpful as nursing. I've also been a nurse for 36 years, a long time, 36 years. But I've enjoyed talking with Cheryl today, and I hope you have a beautiful, blessed day. And we will be doing this about once a month, just coming up with different topics that we can bring forward to you. And you have a blessed and beautiful day, and all is well.
Thank you, Eugenie. And Eugenie, you have a blessed and beautiful day. And
Thank you. It is already.
All righty.
It is already. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.